On your Friday episode of Locked On Raptors, it's Toxic Positivity Friday once again, putting up the blinders to all that is bad with the Toronto Raptors to talk about things like Bruce Brown's return, rookies who are very good, and a modestly toxic proposal that I'll save for the very end of the show.
You are Locked On Raptors, your daily Toronto Raptors podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome to another episode of Locked On Raptors, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. It is Friday, November the 29th, and I'm your host, Sean Woodley. Been covering the Toronto Raptors now 11 seasons on various platforms. You can follow my work over on Blue Sky at woodleyshawn.bsky.social. You can find the show on Instagram at Locked On Raptors, and of course, you can join us in the Locked On Raptors Discord server. Link in the description of the podcast. Great community we got building around the show. Would love to see you in there with the sickos in the sicko den. You can also support the Locked On Raptors newsletter, which is available for free. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a handy QR code right on the screen you can go check out. It's hard to point at. But you can go check out the QR code there. Just go right through to subscribe, or you can go to the link in the description of the podcast if you're not watching, and you can go and click through there and subscribe. Either way, subscribing makes me feel good. So thank you for doing it in advance, and do it for all of the Locked On NBA newsletters. We got one for every single team. Why not just fill your inbox with 30 Locked On NBA newsletters every single day? I don't think there's really any downside to that. Other emails are bad. All right. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And we'll get started here on a Toxic Positivity Friday. Yes, the bit continues, even though for the second straight week, the Raptors are on a winning streak coming into a Friday. Yes, they've won just one game in a row, but it counts, damn it. But still, there's still, lots of stuff with a 5-14 basketball team that we could linger on and discuss and get sad about, but we're not going to, because it is, of course, the day where we only talk about the good stuff. And here to talk about the good stuff is our pal, a star on the podcast, a star in the making. It's Hot Take Heindl, Katie Heindl from the Locked On family of newsletters, our editor-in-chief, the grand poobah of the newsletters. Katie, how are you? And are you here and ready to have more hot takes? People loved Hot Take Heindl last week.
I know, but I have to say I'm very relieved because there can't actually be any hot takes on Toxic Positivity Friday. There just can't. Try. No, there can't, because I think by definition and the way that we did it when I had an out-of-body experience is that the hot take is it's negative.
This is true. That is
it's crazy and negative.
Tone a hot take takes. And yeah, I think last week you had just an absolute lambasting of Grady Dick. Unbelievable. And then he went and got hurt, Katie. This is what you've done. Can you believe this? Hot Take Heindl, too powerful.
I know. Anyway, I'm glad people liked it.
I'm not kidding. I think we got the most positive replies or comments or notes or messages or like posts regarding Hot Take Heindl about any episode of the podcast in years. And so Hot Take Heindl is going to have to come back, Katie. The people want it. Maybe not today, although again, I'm going to try. All right, Katie, let's get into it today. We got lots to get to for Toxic Positivity Friday. We're going to talk about the rookies who rock and ask the question, did they do the 2016 draft all over again, except with more guys this time? We're going to get into, at the end of the show, a modestly toxic positivity proposal that I have, conjured up. Those in the Locked On Raptors Discord might know it's coming a little bit later, but if you're not in the Discord, then it's going to be a total surprise, including to Katie. But off the top, Katie, it's Friday. It's Toxic Positivity Friday, and Bruce Brown is nearing a return. You are a Bruce Brown fan. I think, maybe the foremost Bruce Brown fan in the entire world. What better day to have you on than the day that it might be the last day before we see Bruce Brown play a game for the Toronto Raptors this season. Not going to play in Miami tonight, but it seems like Sunday back at home against Miami for the second half of the home and home could be when we see the debut of one Bruce Brown. Katie, how you feeling?
I feel good. I mean, you did tell me that this was happening. I didn't know. I honestly did not know. I guess I'd put it out of my mind just because it did seem one of those things. It either didn't have a timeline or it seemed a little bit too far off still. So the fact that It seems close, like within 72 hours.
Are you counting down? You have a little clock on the wall, the Bruce counter?
That's crazy. I guess it's going to be honestly a strange thing, a very fun thing, but a strange thing to watch at the same time, because as you know, and as listeners know, I talked myself out of Bruce Brown the entirety of last season, and like Bruce Brown beat in Toronto and why that was even a good thing and why we didn't deserve him, blah, blah, blah. But I've snapped out of that. So it's be a very cool thing to just like see this man play basketball again, especially after what he said earlier this week, about like, I'm basically being like, I'm really sorry if anyone thought I didn't want to be here. I do very much want to be here. I didn't bring the energy that you are probably used to from me because I was playing on one leg last season. Fair.
Yeah. The exact quote, Katie, quote, I don't know if y'all noticed, but last year I didn't really look engaged or have much energy I had with other teams because I was playing on one leg. I want that to be addressed. I know a lot of fans didn't think I played with a lot of energy and I didn't want to be here. That's on social media. Yeah, social media is bad. But I do want to be here. I do want to play with these guys. It's a great bunch of guys, great coaches, great organization. But I was literally playing on one leg. It was tough for me mentally. I couldn't move the way I wanted, play defense the way I wanted. So it was tough. Yeah, I can imagine Katie playing on one leg for an entire season. Maybe not going to be great for your own personal internal vibes. And hopefully he's in a bit of a better place this year. And it's been a long recovery, obviously, but I think they've been smart to take their time and not force him back. And it turns out like they have a lot of guys who've been able to play and fill in the time. I am really fascinated by what Bruce Brown's role on this team will be once he gets in there. I do think he should play, first of all. Like I know there's maybe this sort of idea of, well, like Davion Mitchell's been doing all this great stuff as the pesky point of attack defender guy. And shockingly, I can't believe this is true. I keep on seeing it every day. Davion Mitchell leads the team in on-off differential. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything. Maybe toxic positivity. That's great. He leads the team in on-off differential. That's so great. Good for Davion Mitchell. But I do think Bruce Brown, like, there's got to be a role for him somewhere in this team. Obviously, like, the trade thing will be part of the conversation as well. Jake Fisher was on Blake and Matt's show this week at Sportsnet to, just kind of say, yeah, there's going to be a market for Bruce and all of that. I'm not letting myself worry about that right now because we haven't seen him play in a very long time, and we don't know exactly like what he's going to be able to offer to a team. And I just want to see the next couple months here what he can do and where he fits in. What are you hoping to see from Bruce as far as like role, where he fits in, and sort of, is there anyone in the rotation who you think should be shaking in their boots as Bruce Brown and his spurred boots come walking, ready to square off at the OK Corral and knock him out of the rotation?
It would be a haunting sound if you were to hear it slowly coming down the tunnel. I would take him at his word. And I think one of the things I'm most excited for and what the team does really need is that energy that we saw him famously bring to the Nuggets that led them to a championship. He didn't really get to deploy it as much in Indiana, but there were still bright spots for it. But generally, that's the thing that I wanted to see all along and has been lacking because as he said, he wasn't really up to par to be able to do that. I don't think it's going to have to come at the behest of anybody not seeing minutes, period. I do think minutes will be shared, but perhaps as you said, between Davion Mitchell and Bruce Brown, I think there's a benefit, especially as we've seen this roster, elongate with the injuries that have been, that have befallen the team rather. I don't know why they would stop that just because Bruce Brown is coming back, because it gives you an opportunity to play him in rotations to try basically him with everybody else and see what works. Right. And like the way I look at this is like, they're just getting the rotations ready for the return of Quickly and like, for Scotty to be back 100%, which is smart. But I mean, I know he's not like 100% no for shooting, but like what I do remember, just some very choice shots in Denver. So I would like to see that. And I think the maturation that he has over some of the roster, especially given that they're losing a lot of these games so late, basically, I think he will help quite a bit with being able to slow the game down and kind of getting everybody to cool it when they need to and let the game come to them, which that has, I think, been the biggest deficit in terms of why games and leads are slipping away from the Raptors.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to basically see him come in as something of a offensive ballast almost.
I'm totally with you. Like, he could totally close games for this team right now. He could, in theory, start, honestly. Like, they're kind of floating around different starting lineups, and maybe they landed on something with Ja'Kobe Walter and what he did in his first game. We'll talk about the rookies coming up. Like, it was very good in his first start. But like, Bruce Brown is a steady hand, as you kind of alluded to, and I think there's going to be a big opportunity here for him as, the sort of trade thing goes on in the background and the Raptors want to sort of showcase him as best they can. Like, he's going to get opportunities, and I think he's going to be effective. Like, I think, to go back to the idea that last year, was this sort of lost season for him, I think Raptors fans just like have an entirely incorrect impression of the player Bruce Brown is because of all that was going on, because of the mitigating circumstances. And he talked about it. Yeah, it's on social media. Like, all I see is like, Bruce Brown's cooked. Bruce Brown's terrible basketball player. Like, no, like, he was just like very recently in the rotation, closing games for the NBA champions, and is only 28 years old. It's not like he's like on the decline and he's in his mid 30s and his, peak came on that Nuggets team and it's all downhill from there. Like, that's not how this tends to work. And I'm just excited to see him kind of rehab his image as just like good connective role player, which I don't see any reason why he can't be that on this team. One quick question here, Katie, before we move on and talk about the rookies. We're supposed to be positive here, but is there a way you can be positive about no longer getting Bruce Brown's sideline fits?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll actually have best of both worlds. This isn't even a tough spin because his sideline fits are his tunnel fits. They're the outfit he arrives to the game in. So, and the Raptors social team, shout out to them, have been very diligent about getting those tunnel fits and getting Bruce in the slideshow, probably because they know he is the best dressed person on this team. And Garrett Temple, no shade. So we're still going to get the fits. Nobody's taking those away, but we're going to add Bruce Brown on the floor.
I knew you could spin this positively. You're already a veteran of Toxic Positivity Friday, Katie. We love to see it. We're going to come back on the other side and get into the rookies, who I'm letting myself get way too excited about, and not in any of these guys is going to be a star kind of way, but in a, did the 2024 draft forever alter the trajectory of the Toronto Raptors franchise way? We'll get into that coming up as TPF continues. Today's show is brought to you by a new sponsor here, and a very timely sponsor. It's Skylight Frames. And look, buying gifts is hard for people. Maybe you have family you live far away from. I know my parents, they're like a 3.5-hour drive away. Don't get to see them as much as I would like. I don't get to show them up-to-date photos as much as I would like because social media is a hell pit. My parents aren't really on there. And when you do go to like Instagram, you can't even find the pictures from the people you want because it's just a shopping mall. So get a Skylight frame. It is super easy to set up. It takes just 60 seconds, and you can invite friends and family to easily share photos via the Skylight mobile app, which is free as well and requires no account or subscription. It's that simple. You can upload photos in an instant, so people very far away from you can see what's going on in your life each and every day. You can swipe through photos, tap to see new photos sent, tap the heart button to say thank you to the sender. It's a very wholesome present. You also have two sizes to choose from. You got the 10-inch or the 15-inch gallery frame. They look perfect in any room and they can stand on their own, or you can easily mount them to a wall. It's a wonderful gift idea. And we're confident that you're going to love Skylight. We offer free 120-day returns as well. Not me. I don't work for them. I'm just reading the copy. And they say they will do that. 120-day returns. That's a wonderful thing as well. And now there's a special limited time offer for our listeners. Get $20 off your first purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/NBA. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/NBA. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com. Go check them out. Back at it here with Katie Heindl here on a Toxic Positivity Friday as we talk about the rookies. Katie, big week, big day, I guess, on Wednesday for a couple of the Toronto Raptors rookies. It's been just a rotating wheel of which rookie's going to do a cool thing today. Oh, it's Jamal Shead. Oh, it's Jamison Battle. Oh, it's Ja'Kobe Walter. It's great. I love watching rookies do cool things and be at home on an NBA floor. It's a delight. Been a little while since we saw this sort of critical mass of rookies doing good things for the Toronto Raptors as well. We saw Ja'Kobe Walter Wednesday night make his first start, play 28 minutes, had a 14, 11, and 5 double-double. Didn't shoot super well from deep, but did everything else very well, especially for a guy making his first NBA start at the ripe old age of 19. You've got Jamison Battle stepping in as an undrafted free agent, bombing triples and kind of doing a little bit more off the bounce these days and looking stout defensively. Katie, this rookie class is a delight and it's kind of incredible. And I'm starting to think, and I've kind of had this, floating in my head for a little while, but I don't think I've brought it to the podcast. If I have, I apologize. But it is starting to feel like this draft class for the Raptors is going to tangibly change the way the next few years go for the team in a very positive way, right? Like just hitting on this many seemingly rotation level NBA players with not having a pick in the top 18, by the way, and what everyone considered like not a very good draft, to go and do this and get Ja'Kobe Walter and Jonathan Mogbo, who is already like an incredible defensive player as a rookie, shouldn't be this good. Jamal Shead, who's stringing together a really nice run of games. Jamison Battle already, Al-Rashamshay down in the G League is blocking like 3 shots a game. That's still like a long game thing, but there's a real chance that they have 5 guys in this draft, Katie, who are going to become something of some persuasion, even if they're not stars. This is like a big deal, is it not? Like this is the type of stuff that totally alters trajectories for franchises.
Yeah, I think it is a big deal. I think what's so cool about it is we're getting a really early look at where they might have had developmental leaps. I'd say even like months, but could be seasons down the road, just because of the concentration of minutes everyone is getting, which is a very cool thing, right? We've talked a lot about silver linings of the way that the team has started this season, and this is certainly one of them, if not probably the biggest one of them. Another thing,
maybe Grady Dick. I think it's the rookie who've been the story.
Sorry, loud siren going by for my take.
They're coming for all of the other GMs who didn't get these guys in the draft.
Yes. And what's cool, and like I thought of this honestly in more of a superfluous way at first, but then I was like, no, it actually makes a lot of tangible sense. But I thought about it when I saw the video of them all dancing at the locker room yesterday, which brought me great joy, because it's like, the Raptors are not typically like an existentially dread kind of filled franchise. They're not like very low, and I think we're coming out of some years where that was the prevalent theme, and it was such a bummer. And it's been very interesting to like, I don't know, honestly think about that, like the psychic weight of that perhaps, but now I think that's being shed in large part to the rookies. But a cool thing is that as one of them performs well, like if Jamison Battle goes off one night and then Shed does in another, there's this like healthy sense of competition between them, because it's also the visibility of it is like, well, we're all kind of on the same level developmentally. We're also like, pretty much all in our first year in the NBA, and at this level of competition. So if like they can do it, I can do it. I want to see if I can one up them and do better, but it's all out of positivity, right? And good competition. And I think you're just kind of seeing the team reap the dividends of that. But that's been a very cool thing. I don't really understand fully how I got from dancing to that, but that is where my brain went.
That's why we have Katie on the podcast. It's you're the best at doing that. I would say it even extends beyond just like the rookies feeling sort of like happy for one another when things are going well. I mean, I talked about Davion Mitchell, a guy who I talked about in yesterday's show. Like once they're fully healthy, I think there's a real chance that his minutes start to dip here, just because there's more investment in some of these other guys for the long haul than there is in Davion Mitchell this season. But you couldn't tell that Davion Mitchell is like feeling the pressure from the roster crunch, because he's out there like doing halftime interviews with the rookies and just like seemingly extremely supportive, very happy for guys. Like even when Jamal Shead, ostensibly a guy who's like coming for his job, is doing good things on the floor, Davion Mitchell's just like there and stoked and happy. And I feel bad almost, Katie, because I've been like not super up on the Davion Mitchell basketball playing experience for much of the season. The defense has been fantastic. It's more the offense that drags me down a little bit, but like just to see the way he's kind of just, accepted where he is within this team and is like super supportive, super into it. There's not like any sort of ego or I'm out to save my job in the last year of my rookie deal to get a deal from somewhere else. Like it's a very harmonious vibe. It's the power of youth, Katie. You get youth in the door. It's like when you have like a family and like so you start getting little kids added to the mix and it's like, Christmas is fun again. This is wonderful. What a delight. We're opening gifts, opening presents. It's everyone's happy. There's magic and wonder in the air. It's kind of, it's a Christmas morning with a new swath of children, I guess is how we're describing this this team. Toxic Positivity Friday. It's undefeated. Do you have a favorite guy, Katie, among the rookie class here? Again, this is not saying that the other guys aren't awesome because I think all of them on a given night, I'm like, that's my guy. Oh no, that's my guy. But of this bunch, who are you dreaming on the most? Maybe who are you getting the most toxically positive in your projection of what they can be towards among this group of 4 rookies?
I really liked what I've seen and heard from Jamison Battle, but I think you called it because Shead. From what I've seen of him, and just like he's a rookie, right? Yes.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
Okay. This is also the problem with so many rookies. You're like, that guy also can't be a rookie. And maybe that also speaks to the way that he's been playing, like with a lot of competence. He does, you also called this, but he does remind me of a lot of like early days Fred VanVleet. Yeah, just like the energy, the fearlessness, kind of the tenaciousness, the like plugging every hole, not where I don't want to use the metaphor of a sinking ship because I don't think that's what is happening here, but doing everything that's really asked of him or in some cases like preempting what's being asked just because he knows he's got to be there. There's obviously a lot of room for improvement as with all of them. Like that is the name of the game this season for them. But yeah, I think just like the energy spark that he brings, offensive tenacity, defensive, just like barreling into dudes twice his size all the time.
Crazy. Yeah.
I love it.
The thing with Shead is I made this point on Blue Sky earlier this week. Like when Shead meets an offensive player like 40 feet from the rim, it's like a cosmic body collision. Just like, oh, sorry, dinosaurs. The asteroid has ruined you, and the asteroid is Jamal Shead. Just like it seems really unpleasant to be guarded by that guy, and he's doing it for like half of the length of the floor. Not fun. Shead's a great pull. I look, a couple of these guys, Katie, are like exactly my kind of dude. Small, nasty point guard. Just a little guy out there, just like doing stuff and making stuff happen and overcoming the shortcomings of his height. Sure.
It works.
And also big toolsy wings who can't shoot at all but do everything else well. Jonathan Mogbo is the guy for me as much as I love Jamal Shead's whole package. I love Jamison Battle too. I'm liking Ja'Kobe Walter, but like Jonathan Mogbo, I don't think people on this who listen to this show are going to be surprised to hear me doing Moboganda again. But man, the defensive pops from that dude as a 22-year-old rookie are stunning and graceful and so in control. The way he slides his feet, the way he just like, all right, Anthony Edwards, try to score on me. You're not gonna. I dare ya. Like it's great stuff. Jonathan Mogbo is the guy I'm kind of dreaming the highest on right now, but it's not to slight any of the others because it's been an absolute treat to watch these rookies go and cook. And look, I'm sure at some point a lot of them will get sent to the G League with Bruce Brown coming back. That maybe moves Jamal Shead to more G League duty or something like that. But while they're here, they're doing good stuff. And if they go to the G League, it's only going to be in the interest of doing more good stuff down the line. Anyway, we'll come back on the other side, Katie. We'll get to it. I have teased to you, the listeners, that I have a modestly toxic proposal for the Toronto Raptors this season to help celebrate their 30th anniversary in a way that I think would just be a poetic chef's kiss. We'll get to that closing out your Friday, Toxic Positivity Friday. That is in just one sec. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel, the number one sportsbook in North America that you can go check out right now and earn big as new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. That's pretty fun. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. All you got to do is visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. And of course, it's not just the NFL. Maybe you do like to do those live in-game bets on games that are ongoing. Maybe you want to go throw some money down on where Juan Soto is going to sign in baseball free agency, or you want to put some money down on an NBA futures bet for who's going to win the NBA championship. It's all there for you to go and peruse on their very easy-to-use app. That's FanDuel.com. Go check them out. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Closing things out here on your Toxic Positivity Friday, sending you off into the weekend. A couple of games against the Miami Heat. I'll be there Sunday. I'm hoping Katie will be there too, so we can say, hi, what's up? And maybe not. We'll see. But either way, Raptors, Heat, you got to be there for Bruce Brown's first game, Katie.
Yeah, but in my brain, I'm just like, I think I have something on Sunday.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I can't think of what. Is it an afternoon game?
6 o'clock start on Sunday. So
I like that. Okay.
Yeah. We'll very much hoping you can be there for Bruce Brown's debut, Katie. I'm rooting for you. Either way, let's get into my little toxically positive proposal for the Raptors this season. Look, Katie, here's a guy we all know and love. Some might argue the greatest Raptor of all time. If you're not arguing that, you're a fool. He is currently not getting rotation time for a very disappointing Philadelphia 76ers team. He's wearing name tags that say coach on them right now because it seems like he's already beginning the transition into a later phase. It does feel, with the way he's played, the way he's shooting, the way it just seems like time is catching up, that this will be his final season in the NBA. And Katie, this 30th anniversary season, a season where it doesn't really matter if they're winning games. It really is just about the vibes and the celebration and the good times. I think the Toronto Raptors should be doing everything in their power to acquire Kyle Lowry at some point this season. Bring him home. Do it. Let's finish the season like on the highest possible note you could possibly imagine. Have him come in, school the young dude, teach Jamal Shead how to take charges, teach him how to grow his butt, all of that stuff. We need Kyle Lowry back on this team. I think it was the 2014-15 Minnesota Timberwolves, who were not very good, but they traded for one Kevin Garnett and had a beautiful little homecoming for the final stretch of the season. He imparted wisdom upon Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. This might have been 15-16 now that I'm thinking about it. Either way, it was a beautiful thing, Katie, to see that reunion between franchise icon and like the franchise that made him. I think we should be seeing it with the Raptors and Kyle Lowry. I think they should do everything in their power to make this happen. Maybe the Sixers just waive Kyle at some point, and the Raptors can go scoop him up and add him to the bench, and him and Garrett Temple can be wise old sages together. Tell me why I'm wrong that the Raptors should not be doing everything in their power. Their number one transactional priority this season should not be trading Bruce Brown, should not be trading Chris Boucher. It should be getting Kyle Lowry on this damn basketball team so I can feel some feelings down the stretch, damn it.
Well, I simply cannot tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah!
You're right. I don't even think it's such a perverse proposition.
It's not. It seems extremely attainable to me.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
If there's ever a time the Sixers were desperado for it, now is the time. And if there were ever a year, to bring Lowry back, I think he'd even still want to play. But yeah, certainly in like more of a player coaching kind of role, it would be this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been going super hot for Kyle right now, and it bums me out. I don't like watching the Sixers for a lot of reasons, but the main reason is that it's just been really hard for Kyle Lowry to make it happen. He's missed the last 4 games, and just seems like, unfortunately, Father Time is catching up. After he started the season like not missing, he was incredible for the first like 5-6 games, couldn't miss a 3, and since then he's hit 2 threes in the last like 7 or 8 games. It seems to be that this happens with everybody, and I'm trying to be positive about it. Look, he's had a beautiful, long-ranging career. Him having a rough year this year at age like 38, 39 is by no means a blight on his resume and record. The fact that he's still here is a damn miracle. But yeah, I think writing seems to maybe be on the wall that this is going to be it. And if there's a place that he can finish it off his career, I'd much rather be Toronto than Philly. Toronto and Philly equally not very good in the standings, but the vibes on Toronto significantly better than Philly. Yeah. And I don't want the end of his career to be like Sixers fans turning on him. That sounds nightmarish, Katie.
Yeah, especially in your hometown, right? It's like really the most inoptimal way to, if this is Kyle Lowry's last season, which is a difficult thing that I don't really want to think about yet. But if it is, it's a tough way to end your very prestigious and successful playing career.
No doubt. It's
I just hope him being from there will make Sixers fans not turn on him.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the fact that they all hate Joel Embiid and Paul George now,
yes,
kind of deflects some of the attention away. Man, the Sixers are the Sixers just like, I know we talked about this last week when Hot Take Heindl made an appearance, and our what's more likely is to who's more likely to finish ahead of the Raptors. I think you said between the Bucks and Raptors, the Sixers were more likely to finish ahead. I can't remember exactly, but
I did.
They're just
I don't believe it.
Yeah, they're doomed, right? Like, this is a really upsetting situation over in Philly, no?
It just feels like they're really running at a deficit that's like now it's like the hole's too deep to get out of, It almost feels like they need someone to hit reset on the whole season. But that's a crazy thing to say at the end of November, basically 1 month into your season.
Yeah.
Perhaps they can turn it around, but I'm also like, okay, are they just going to make some crazy trades?
Well, yeah, they're going to trade Kyle Lowry for Davion Mitchell or something. And
not even a crazy trade, but yes.
No, I don't think it's legal for dumb first apron reasons with the Sixers. Okay. I think they have to match salary or bring in less salary coming back. You can figure it out. You could pair Kyle Lowry with Caleb Martin and bring in Davion Mitchell or something, and it could probably work.
Just give them some money.
Yeah.
They probably just want some money.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, look, Davion Mitchell, high draft stock. He was like a 7th overall pick. Daryl Morey really loves star upside. Maybe he thinks he can milk star potential out of Davion Mitchell at this point. Daryl Morey, very much out of ideas, it seems.
Davion Mitchell would also be a great addition. Anyone would be a great addition to that team right now.
Oh, yeah. Anyone
just
with a
fresh
pulse.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's going to come in and at least for a few games, not be tainted by whatever plague or plight has affected the rest of that organization.
Yeah, but then Nick Nurse coaches you for a week, and all of a sudden, feeling
the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. It turns out it's Nick Nurse.
We are going to leave it there, Katie. I'm glad I didn't have to do much convincing for you on this go get Kyle Lowry thing. I'm going to keep on pounding the table for it all year long. When I pound the table for things that comes true, I said, turn purple, be a purple basketball team. And they only half did it. Maybe they'll only get half of Kyle Lowry. That sounds morbid.
You should slip Bobby a note on Sunday. Here.
I just might do that.
Here's an idea.
In case you haven't thought about this, put her there, pal. Yeah, that sounds... I'll work on it. Kyle Lowry, bring him home. Have him finish out the career.
Slide the note under the coach's door beside the press conference room. Just slide it under and write it with your note. Are you left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
So write it with your left hand. Classic.
Yeah. I don't think they know my handwriting in the Raptors coaching room.
Fair.
But that's Sean's writing. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll leave it there. We'll contemplate ways in which we can plant seeds for the Raptors to go do this damn thing as we go forward. But glad to know I have you on the train. And if you're online and you're listening to the podcast, tweet at the Raptors accounts, post at them, harass them into going to get Kyle Lowry. Be nice about it, but just
bring back
keep
Kyle.
Them seeds. Yeah,
let's get
bring
it going.
Back Kyle, let's do it. Can think of no better way to celebrate the 30th anniversary season. We will leave it there. Katie, anything you want to promote for the good people out there?
Yeah, our newsletter, which you already did, Locked On NBA. Sign up. We're over 10,000 subscribers
Damn.
nationally. We're blowing this thing out of the water. I also wrote for SB Nation something about NBA fines. Do you ever think about what happens to fines after they're fined? After
I
Draymond
hadn't
Green
until I read your piece.
drags somebody across the floor. It turns out they have a beautiful, very generous afterlife.
Awesome.
They go to a lot of really important charities. Anyway, I talked to folks at the NBPA as well as Kevin Herter of the Kings just about that. I really liked writing that story. It's real feel good.
Raptors fans have a lot of weird beef with Fred VanVleet. How could you have weird beef with Fred VanVleet, the man who gets the most fines in the NBA for ref?
You're gonna look at these
good stuff.
You're gonna look at Draymond Green as a top philanthropist, and Fred too, top earners for charity.
Yeah,
so thoughtful
stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just anytime he roasts Ben Taylor, it's for a good cause.
Oh, the last thing I'll promote is Basketball Feelings is having a Black Friday subscription sale. You can get an annual subscription for 50% off, which I think is like $23 for the year.
If you're not spending that money, you're a fool, because Basketball Feelings is fantastic. And it's one of the only other email I get that I like outside of the Locked On Raptors email is Basketball Feelings. So go and that's not true. I get second arrangement, but mostly just people I like who do Substacks. Send me nice emails. So yeah, go subscribe to Kelly Dwyer's second arrangement and Katie Heindl's Basketball Feelings, and you're doing a solid to everyone. All right, we'll leave it there. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the games against the Heat. We'll talk to you again on Monday to break them all down and continue the Bring Kyle Back campaign that we're starting now. Again, tweet at your local authorities, and let's make it happen. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Oh, rimmed out. That's cruel.